Welcome to the Real Estate Entrepreneurs Podcast. Real people doing real deals in real estate and no fake gurus allowed. We bring you the best and the most real estate investors in the space. They'll be showing you the good, the bad, and the ugly of real estate investing. Like, share, subscribe, get notified. It's the Real Estate Entrepreneurs Podcast.
Welcome to the Real Estate Entrepreneurs Podcast. And today I have the pleasure of bringing my dear friend, Mr. Charles Hernandez from San Antonio, Texas. Charles, thank you so much for jumping on this call, man. At such a short notice. This is something we've been planning now for a year at least. But man, you're a busy man, and I've also been busy. So thank you for being here, Charles.
Much welcome, man. Thank you for inviting me.
Charles, so tell me something, man. Who are you? Like, where do you come from? Tell me about, I want to know everything from the time you came into this world.
Well, maybe not everything, man, but, man, I grew up in what I tell people, Violent-Ville, USA, man. That's how I grew up on the street, man. And I know every part of the street. I know the street very well. And made a lot of mistakes in my life, and some were intentional, some were not. And then, I found my way into school. I went to school. I got my degree from University of Texas here in San Antonio because I wanted my son to see that anybody can make it. That was my main purpose. And he also graduated from the University of Texas now. So that was my purpose of getting educated. But in the process of doing that, I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always had different businesses. I had a nightclub at one time, and I've gone up, I've gone down, I've gone up, I've gone down, made a lot of mistakes. As you know, we weren't the benefits of social media back then. So if you lost hard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I got into the mortgage business in very early 2000s. I ran some broker shops and mortgage banks, and then I was doing very well at that. I got destroyed during the crash. I didn't see it coming. Went through a spell of depression, gained a lot of weight during that time. I really put my creative financing skills to work, facilitating private transactions between investors and private lenders. And then I started HBHS. In 2012, that's when Michael married my daughter, and we just started building HBHS from the ground up. In a small little 10 by 10 room. It was just he and I for like 5 years, and just banging out deals. Realty. We started with realty, and we started hitting a lot of fix and flips, and then we started getting into wholesaling. And then we just started putting creative financing, because that was my main thing, creative financing, into play. We started portfolioing properties, portfolioing. Then in 2016, we decided to build a team, and we've had our ups and downs with that. We've deconstructed the team several times, and now we're here, man. We're on our way, man. I mean, like everybody else, I tell everybody, success comes to people at their own time. Everybody's time is different. Some people get success really, really quick at a young age, and that's fabulous. Some people get success and fall apart, up and down. That's been my story, but I never quit, man. So I'm here.
Man, you know what? I don't know if you heard me typing here, Charles, but I had to type what you just said. I mean, that was a major nugget. What you just mentioned there. Success comes to people at different times. You could not be more assertive when you say that, because everybody's trying to mimic someone else. Or if they see you, some people want to achieve your success, but they don't want to put the time and efforts and sweat and tears that you actually put throughout your life, right? They just want that microwave success, which is Let me go ahead and get warmed up real quick, and in 2 minutes, boom, here I get it. Success is delivered to me, right? And understanding what you just said, Charles, is so important. Not only for up and coming people that are brand new in this business, but for people that have been in this business for a long time, struggling and trying to find their way into what is it that works. And you talked about, building a team, deconstructing the team, rebuilding the team, deconstructing the team. And a lot of people don't understand that when you are in the real estate business, especially if you're a wholesaler, and you're doing a lot of deals that are coming through the pipeline, that is something you're going to be doing every year. Every year. I don't care who you are. I have never seen a team that stuck together for a very long time. All of the team. Maybe the core team will, but not a team as a whole. So, but before we get into real estate, man, I want to go back to your upbringings. Okay, you mentioned that you grew up in the streets. Where were the streets at for you? Where was that at?
Well, I was very, very young. New Orleans, I was born in New Orleans. My dad's family's from there. So, I mean, I can remember being a small little kid out in the street. I mean, because it was different back then, in the early 70s. Parents had to work, especially minorities. We just, I guess, opportunities weren't there was not a lot of opportunity back then.
Yeah, it wasn't easy to
Yeah,
find the opportunities.
yeah. Then of course, we moved back to Texas. We were in Houston for a while, and then in Corpus. I mean, really, what I can tell you is this about my young past is very destructive. Very, my good friend at the age I was 8 years old, and my little best friend who was 9, right in front of me, was shot right in the face.
Wow. And what
So
was this, in Houston or Corpus?
this was Corpus, yeah.
Corpus. Yeah, Corpus
And
was a rough area, man. I lived there for 4 years, and um, there are good parts of Corpus, but there are some parts that are really, really, really bad.
well, I was in the bad ones,
Is
and
that by Leopard Street or what?
very close, yeah,
I
yeah.
know, I
Yeah,
know Corpus very well.
we lived in the Cut. You know what? Remember the Cut is
Yeah.
at? It's right there by the refineries, and it was rough, man. And I got involved. I wasn't a dumb kid, man. I was pretty smart, but I grew up fighting all the time. My stepdad put me in boxing because he thought that would
Strain you up. Yep.
yeah. And the problem with learning a skill like that and growing up in a very violent area is what's going to happen. You start using that skill, and so, man, I got worse. Man, I got involved in stuff that I shouldn't have got involved in, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And eventually, I went to the army. I had no choice. I actually was sitting in front of a judge, and the judge was basically telling me, you either go to the army or you go to jail. So I picked the
I
army.
would have picked the army too. No problems.
And even when I was in the army, man, I mean, for a long time I was very ashamed to admit this, but I didn't get a dishonorable discharge, but I got a general discharge.
Yeah.
I got a general discharge because I had 17 fights while I was in there,
Wow.
and they just got tired of me. And so that didn't end. As I'm not proud of that. I continued to make mistakes. Throughout my young life, I was always running businesses. I opened up a nightclub. I didn't have the best people around me. I didn't have any mentors back then. I mean, growing up as a young Latino, I mean, you're just trying to do stuff by your bootstraps, man, and you don't have a lot of guidance. Like today, people have a lot of guidance, man. They can take advantage of social media. They can take advantage by looking at people that are doing stuff. You don't have that stuff back then, and that's why today, when I hear people say, "Man, I don't know what to do," I'm like, "You don't know what to do? Well, shit. There's a thing called Google, Bing, and YouTube. man, there's so much people can do today. And so when somebody tells me that, I find that very depressing for them, not for me, but for them, and I try to point them in the right direction. Eventually I got into school and
So
started.
what made you decide to go to school? Like I understand that you wanted to show your son, right, what to do or what not, but how was you coming from the streets? When you're in the streets, man, you never think about going to school. You're thinking about whatever. But the last thought is I'm going to go to school. What made you like make that shift and said I'm gonna go get me a college degree now?
Because I didn't want to be a gangster.
Okay, so you found out what you didn't want to be.
Yeah, I decided, like, man, do I want to be just another Latino? Do I want to be just another? I want to be a thug. Do I want to be a gangster? Do I want to be, on the street all my life? Do I want to get all tatted up and stuff? Not that I have anything against tattoos or anything.
Yeah, but it's the image that comes with it, right?
Yeah. Or do I want to do something with my life? And so what had kept me out of school, Ricardo, to be honest with you, man, it was something so simple, man, was I didn't understand the difference between 3 credits and 3 hours. And I never wanted to ask. I was afraid. I didn't want to look stupid. And I tell everybody today, because I do these, I go talk to kids here in San Antonio. I do it privately, for the schools and stuff. And what I tell them is, don't be scared, man. Don't be scared to ask questions. Fear will keep you from what you want to do. And I said, and by asking a question and you get the answer to it, it'll release you. And so that kept me out of school for many, many years. And eventually I started school and I graduated from the University of Texas here in San Antonio. I got a few undergrad degrees, associates. I got a paralegal certification. And once I started learning, I started going to school, man, like my mind opened up, my mind opened up to everything. So a lot of people today say school's not worth it. And I get that. I get it. But for me, I tell everybody, man, it doesn't matter what type of education you get, whether it's at a university or whether it's entrepreneurial, you need to always be advancing. So I never stop learning to this day. I'm always a student. I'm a student to this day. I wanted to be a better role model for my son. I had to be a better role model to my son. I wanted him to have a better life. And I don't take credit for what my son has done, but today he has a degree from the University of Texas in accounting. He works at UTSA, one of the top offices. He's married to his beautiful wife, fixing to be a lawyer. And I'm not saying that I had anything to do with that. What I'm saying is,
no, you did. I'm telling you right now, you did have a lot to do with it because you set the example, right? So
I'm proud of him. What I say is, if I had anything to do with it, then the struggle for me was worth it, because I wanted to show him that no matter what you do, where you come from, you can always make a change.
Yep.
And so I accomplished that, I think, and I'm proud of him. And so I say that to everybody. I say that to anybody who grows up hard, man. It's your decision. It doesn't matter what you do, where you come from, unless there's a few things that I don't agree with. That of course I will not let anybody in my office. And those things are, for example, rapists, child molesters, and stuff like that, right? But I tell everybody, man, you make a mistake, man. We all make mistakes. It's what you do after the fact that counts. So I tell everybody, if you want a chance, then earn it.
Man, I agree. That's great wisdom, by the way, Charles. And I don't agree with the people that are out there bashing college and corporate America. Okay. I see it all the time on social media. Why are you going to go get a job for $12 an hour? Or why are you going to go get a college degree? Because it's part of your growing. You have to grow up. You can't really go be, or some people do. I'm not going to say nobody does, but there's some people that go jump and be a CEO by the age of 22 or whatnot, and they make it. But that's very abnormal. For the majority of the people, we have to go through college. We have to go through a job. We have to learn systems in place. We have to learn how to honor that job's, time that we're getting paid for. So So I'm the guy that I don't hate on corporate. Number one, I'm running at my own corporation. So how am I going to hate on corporate? I can't. I'm providing jobs for people and stuff, right? And so will that new CEO that will come up, eventually owning their own business. So there's got to be a little bit of a mind shifting into how we treat college and corporate when from an entrepreneurial type. And you described it perfectly. You said, look, I don't know if I did anything for myself, but what you did is you set the right example. It's like, look, I went and got my degree. I got out of the streets. That's a huge example to set, to go from the streets into thinking, I don't want to be a thug anymore. And now I want to be something else. And then for you to show it to the ones that are coming after you, it speaks a lot about your character, right? So anyhow, fast forward, you got your degree. What do you do after you got your degree? Well, like, what was that like? Like, what was the next step?
I got into so man, let me just touch on this something real quick. For anybody that's out there listening, having a hard time, and if you come from where I come from, or if that life is foreign to you, whatever struggles you're going through, man, you have to understand that wherever you're coming from, it's always going to be pulling at you, man. It's going to be pulling at you, trying to bring you back to where you were at because that's what you're used to. And the struggle was real, man. And you know that, Ricardo. You've been through a lot of stuff, man. And you have to. You may not find the success that you want to find, but I guarantee you one thing: if you don't fight for it, you'll never get close to it. And so I say that to people all the time, man. If I leave this world tomorrow, and I almost did this past year when I had the COVID, I was okay, man. I was like, you know what, I'm okay. I always tell people I owe life. So I try to live my life today, but I always try to share, give, help, because I owe life, and I want to leave this place. I want to leave this place one day, and if I leave this place and people say, man, that guy, I remember, man, he helped me, man. He helped me change my direction. And that's how I live my life. And I mean, we're in the business to make money, but at the same time, I believe that you should try to help other people. And that's how I move forward on that. To answer your question, so knowing that I wanted to do something with my life, I was thinking, okay, do I go into a professional job? Will anybody take me because I have a degree now? I don't have a pedigree. I have a spotted background.
You had a lot of limiting beliefs.
Yeah, but you know what I did, man? I said, I'm gonna make some shit happen, man. And so I looked for a company that was on the move, fast paced. And it took me a while to find one. I found this company. It was called i3 Solutions. They were out of Dallas. And the guy was good, man. He was a good guy. He was starting this credit restoration company that was associated with World Savings, and World Savings were promoting them, and that was a very large bank before the crash. And I was brought on board. I had a lot of hustle. I was young, and I was right away. I was closing more deals than anybody here in San Antonio and South Texas region, and I was top producing, just like a lot of these young bucks that we get now. That was me back then,
Yeah.
And that's why Manny reminds me a lot of myself, because I was like that, boom, 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 all the time, man. And I got to learn a lot about credit, and that segued me into mortgages, because I had to go to mortgage offices and present our products and stuff like that. And then I started bringing deals to them, and before I knew it, I just told one of the branch managers, I said, hey, I want to learn this business, man. And I did. So I would work at one job, then I would come to this job, and I would be there working for free. I worked for free for like 6 months, and I would say, I want to learn the systems. I work all your systems, teach me them, and I run all your files through Loan Prospector and Desktop Underwriter, and I would run all the files all behind the scenes. They would do the originating, I run all the files. But my plan was to learn all the back information so that I can run an office. And sure enough, man, within a year, I had my own office, and I had loan officers working under me, because I got that good, because I got better than the people they had in place. And then I had another office, and then I was managing a mortgage bank. Man, by the time I knew, before the crash hit, I probably had maybe 30, 35 loan officers working, six processors. I had 2 small offices, a large office, and it was going great. I had accounts with different lenders across the country, and then the crash came, and I didn't see it coming.
The
And
crash is, you're talking about 2008, right?
yeah, I got destroyed, man. I got destroyed. And when you come from the streets and you make a lot of money, you have a lot of success, and then you get destroyed like that, it's very hard, man. It's very hard. I took it hard, and so I had to file bankruptcy twice. I lost a lot of stuff. I almost lost my marriage, and lost, toys and stuff. That's why, like today, that shit don't matter to me. You know, like I have a few Rolexes. That's all I have.
The thing is, Charles, once you know what it takes to get it, right? It's not so much about getting it, it's more about keeping it.
Yeah.
Like, how do you keep the stuff that you have, right? And probably when you were younger, you were leveraging your eyeballs out, buying everything on credit, financing this and financing that, and what, I don't know what kind of toys you had back then, but it comes to a point to where you learn the lesson, and you value certain things a lot more than the material things that you may acquire. Like, I value more my peace of mind now than I do stuff, or even a house, like a simple house. Like, I sold my house not long ago. My wife was having a tough time going through that, but I wasn't. I was like, look, in order for me to grow from where we're come from, because I did get hit just like you did. But you start appreciating other things that are more important than just material things. By the way, material things are awesome because you get to enjoy them, you play with them. I'm not hating on toys by any means. If you want to go get toys, perfect, do it. But you have to do it right. If I'm going to have a toy, I'm going to own that thing outright. There's not going to be a loan on it. I'm not going to owe a dime on it. That's the way I'm moving forward with my toys. So tell me a little bit. So did you have properties at the time when you got hit with a crash, or were you actually buying and leveraging? Because back then, man, if you breathe, you can get a loan.
Yeah. So yeah, it was crazy. I specialized actually running shops that did govy loans. So I oversaw a lot of govy loans. I didn't do a lot of conventionals, but somewhere late in 2007, when I did open a conventional shop up, I noticed that we threw up a file. It just had a name, a social, an address, and that's it. And a 560 credit score, and I got approved for 100% financing.
Wow.
And that was late 2007. And I thought to myself, what is going on? And so I kind of felt like, man, something's going on. And so yeah, man, up until then, so back then there was a lot of traditional lenders.
Yeah.
They were very highly invested in doing investment loans, and there were specialized banks that did that. And so I was really good at doing a lot of creative stuff like silent seconds, silent thirds, 80 10-10s. A lot of people don't know what that stuff is, 80 15-5s with a silent second. And I was partnering with a lot of different investors putting those deals together. So I had interest in quite a few deals, and I had a few properties myself. But when the market crashed, those lenders went away. And so a lot of these deals, we put them into adjustable rate mortgages so we can get a lower rate, right? Season them for 6, 7, 12 months, and then we'd be able to cash them out and cash out the equity, right? And so when those banks went away, those opportunities to refinance those transactions went away too. The same thing with people that were refinancing into home equity loans. Those banks went away. So I lost properties. I lost liquid funds. I had massive amount of business debt, leases, credit accounts, we used to pull credit a lot. And so what people don't understand, guys, is this, man. A lot of times people think that $1 million, $2 million is a lot of money. Trust me, man. $2 million, like $2.3 million, it's nothing, because that's what I lost, like that. It was just going. And at first it was like, it's cool, I'll make it up. It's cool. It was just going and going. And I wasn't nervous, but then it's like the floodgates opened up and it was just pouring out, man, just stuff I had to be paying and settling that, settling this lease, settling that lease. And I felt comfortable doing it because I felt like I was going to have a bounce back, but the market never corrected itself. Not immediately, it didn't. And then the government stepped in, just took all the money out of doing loans, and so I had to get away from running broker shops. So yeah, man, I got destroyed big time, and well, then that's when I went into facilitating creative financing transactions between private lenders and investors. But you had to get really creative at doing those deals because the banks weren't doing them, and so that's really where I learned all that creative stuff. And then of course, like I said, I started HBHS after that.
Did you have somebody that kind of like lead you the way, that taught you a little bit on how to do some of this crazy creative financing stuff, or that's something that you started kind of like doing on your own, winging it pretty much? Like,
Well, in 2005, 6, and 7, I did meet quite a few people that were getting creative with. So where it all started for me on the credit side, I'll be perfectly honest with you. So what happened was I used to oversee broker shops that did gubby loans. And back then you had down payment assistance programs like Nehemiah and stuff like that. And we would get real creative, man, with putting people into 100% loans on FHA. And people were saying, what are you talking about, 100% loan? So you would get real creative with figuring out how to do alternative lines of credit, how to get Nehemiah money to pay for down payment, pay for all the closing costs. And that's where my mind opened up, that you could get creative with doing transactions and stay legal. And so when that segued into doing conventional deals, and then eventually private deals, and then that's really what all started for me. And I did meet some people along the way that dropped some nuggets on me. I took those nuggets and I just started combining strategies together, and that's how. I'm not going to say I'm the best at doing creative financing, but that's how I learned a lot of those tricks.
Good to know, man. So you started HBHS, what, 2012, you said?
2012. I will say it before I jump into that. I when the internet was young for me in early 2000s, I spent a lot of time, guys, researching because I felt like I was behind. I always felt like I was behind. Even today, I feel like I'm behind. I feel like, man, I spent a lot of time. I wasted a lot of time, what I'm saying, in my youth. And so I'm always feel like I'm behind the ball. So I'm always studying. I'm always reading up. I'm always doing something. I'm always learning. I'm always learning a new strategy or delegating. And so along the way, I learned, the creative financing, and I also learned how to do breadcrumbing. So I got really good at finding people, and getting really good at finding people allowed me to do other deals. And so I'm always looking. In my mind, I'm always looking, okay, how can I get to that deal? What can I do to get that deal faster? And that's just how it snowballed. And yeah, in 2012, that's when I started HBHS.
That's good, man. So what was the HBHS purpose back then? Like, you started as a brokerage, or?
I started HBHS as a brokerage. So I would get a lot of leads, man. So a lot of agents knew me. I would get a lot of real estate leads. And so I was still doing the creative financing stuff. But I said, you know what? That's another revenue stream. So I started HBHS, and I hired a bunch of agents, and we just started knocking out deals. And then Michael came on board real shortly right after that. He was dating my daughter, and we were talking about a deal. He had moved to San Antonio. He was still in the Army, and USAA, he was trying to do a VA loan. USAA was telling him he needed to put 10% down and pay like $7,000 in closing costs. And I said, Michael, look, I'm going to show you how to do this deal from my kitchen table. You're going to do this deal, 100% financing, and I'm going to get you all your money back. And with the exception of your inspection report. And so I called a few friends of mine, and sure enough, man, he popped the deal. And then, so that's where the light went off in his head. He was like, man, how did you get this done? So we started talking. I started explaining to him how the business ran. And then I just said, hey, look, would you like to do real estate? And he finally jumped in. He got his license. And then we started knocking out deals. And it's Michael's first 3 years. perfectly honest with you, man, his first 3 years, man, he knocked over 50 deals his first 3 years. I think 1 year he got like 62 deals in his first 3 years when he was doing real estate. And that's unheard of.
Wow.
That's unheard of. And he was working full time at the base and doing real estate after he got off work and on the weekend. So that's why I tell you, Ricardo, when people tell me like they can't do it,
Yeah, there's no excuses.
they can't find a way. And I'm just like, guys, me and Mike, my daughter was having a baby. We're in there, not when she's having the baby, we're in there talking deals. I was getting married. I'm in the limo in Vegas. I got married in Vegas. I'm in the phone doing a deal. My wife's looking at me like, the fuck? Excuse my language. and that's, you got to live it, man. You got to live it. Now, not everybody has to do it the way we do it. But if you just do it if you just live it halfway, 100%, just give it that 100, just give the halfway or whatever you're going to give to it, give it 100%, even if it's halfway, you'll have success. But if you're not even willing to do that, then that's why people don't have success, man, because it's not going to come to you. You got to go get it.
Wow. Look, man, that was a major nugget you dropped in there and Charles, you say a lot. I don't do this motivational shit. I'm not here to motivate you, but watch it, man, because what you just did is you're motivating people. So you without you knowing it, you're inspiring people to go and tackle deals and learn and do what they need to be doing so they can overcome all the challenges. So one thing I'm taking right now is that since you were a very young kid, you've been overcoming challenges all your life, right? And that's one of the main reasons that why you're successful today. And probably sometimes, and I know you personal, Charles, so I know you probably don't see yourself that way, but you are actually the light that shines for a lot of people, right? Especially when they start coming on to you for wisdom. Because how do you really gain wisdom? It's through experience, through failures and setbacks. If you didn't go through your setbacks in 2008, in 2007, and 2009, you would have never maybe learned how to digest a lot of that, what to do next in life. How do you prepare for your life after that? How do you fix your credit? How do you fix your relationship with your wife? Because I'm telling you right now, when starvation comes through the window, love leaves through the door. It's just that fast, right? So if you guys are listening to this podcast, Charles is pretty much opening up and he's being very vulnerable in all his struggles, man. And I appreciate you for that, Charles.
I will say this to you, because you and I talked and you gave me some advice the other day, because I've been going hard at this a long time, man. And I got to give a shout out to my wife, my beautiful wife, man. She's been through thick and thin. She stuck it out, man. And she's seen me go up, she's seen me go down, go up, go down. We've had our struggles. We've had our setbacks. We've had our pain, our hurt, our regrets, and, man, I got to give it up to her, man. I got to give it up to her. And I'd say to anybody, if you have a significant other, if I had to do it all different again, Ricardo, what I regret most, man, is I regret most that I didn't spend more time with my wife. Something that I'm doing now that you and I have talked about, and I've changed my whole routine like this. I just made a change because her and I talked, and I realized, you know what, she's telling me what the problem is. And when a woman tells you this is the problem, you need to listen. So what she was telling me is, hey, you're not spending time with me. I'm tired of this. And you know what? So I just said, hey, I get home now. It's 8:30. I put the phone down. I don't touch it. I get up now at 5 a.m. with her. And I just changed my whole thing. You know why? Because at the end of the day, none of this that I'm doing is going to be worth it if I'm not with her at the end.
Wow.
And I love my wife. So, I've talked to you about this. I asked your counsel, your advice about this. And so I've changed my whole routine about this, man,
Man, I love it, man. And guys, for you guys that are watching this, you better be taking notes, because all of the time we find ourselves grinding. I gotta go make it happen. I need the money, or I gotta make money, or whatever. Because money, let's be real, money is like oxygen. Try to go without it and see how far away you get, right? But what Charles is telling you right now is that you got to pay attention to your significant other, right? And your significant other has got to be on board with what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not on board with what you're doing, I'm sorry, but it's just not gonna work out. There's gonna be struggles. There's gonna be days that you're gonna show up and you had a big win that day because you closed on a big deal, or you pulled off a big business transaction or whatnot, and you get home and they're not on board with you because they don't think what you're doing is worth, or they think they're more important, whatever. So you have to find a balance, in between the two.
You're exactly right. My wife said to me, look, I don't care about the money, and I don't care about the stuff you buy me. 'Cause I buy her a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and she's like, what I care about is, do you care about me?
That's it.
And I thank you, Ricardo, because in the last few weeks, I made all these changes that I have been running one way and one way only since I've been with my wife for 17 years, and that's 100 miles an hour. And I had to change the way I do that. And I appreciate you sharing your counsel with me for the last several weeks, because I'm really happy now, and I'm really happy
That she's happy. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Is that she's happy, right? Because if she's not happy, then why are we doing all of this for?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Like, to go back to somebody that's mad at you, or have animosity in your own house, or your kids are not looking at you the same way because daddy's not spending enough time with the kids or the grandkids. Now, in your case, you got grandkids already. So yeah, you have to find a balance, and it's okay. You have to sacrifice for a little bit, right? But eventually you have to find that balance. You gotta find a balance. So let's fast forward, Charles. Let's fast forward to blowing up HBHS, right? So you started with Mike on a 10 by 10 office, pretty much. Mike was part-time, you were full-time. And then today, I love going to your office, by the way, because I see the energy. I see monitors, you got videos, you got people dialing, you got people texting, agents on the side. You got a podcast room, you have a kitchen where they're hanging out and eating and talking all the time. The culture and the energy is beautiful in HBHS. And how did it come about to growing it to where it's at right now? Like, and I know you just kind of like deconstructed it a little bit, but it's kind of like an accordion. The accordion opens up and down, right?
I
When
think
did you make that shift?
I think that you have to be open to change, man. Change is scary for a lot of people, and it's scary for me, but a lot of times what people see, they see just the glamorous part of the real estate stuff, primarily wholesaling. That's what most people promote, right? And it's a good business. We do a lot of stuff besides wholesaling. That's what people see, and so we do conduct ourselves in a way here in my office where everybody has respect for each other. We try to create a family type of bond where we all hold each other accountable. I tell everybody, if you come here, I can guarantee you this. If I pick you to be an HBHS, one, I will teach you what I know. Okay, which if you find value in that, then that's fantastic, because you're gonna be able to take this knowledge, and nobody will ever be able to take it from you. You can use it anytime you want in your life, because this type of business, once you learn it, nobody can take it from you because you have it. I said, I can share with you systems, data, processes, all that stuff. I said, but what I can't give you is I can't give you the hustle, man. I can't give you the no quit attitude. I said, only you can bring that. I said, and if you can't find a way to bring that, then eventually it's not going to be me that tells you to leave, because you're going to leave on your own, because you're not going to make it. You see, and to make it in this business, you have to be willing to bring it every day. You got to be able to check your problems at the door. and you got to bring it every single day, whether you're SMSing, whether you're cold calling, whether you're knocking on doors, whether you're driving for dollars, whatever you're doing, you have to be able to bring it, because this is how you make your living. This is how you're trying to do something. You're trying to change something about your whole life so that it can affect your wife, your kids, your grandkids, and so I tell all these guys every single day, if you walk in here, I walk out there sometimes and I'll go up to each one of them. I'm like, hey, what's going on with you? How are you doing? What's going on? Okay, how are you feeling? All right, get up, shake it off. Let's go. And so, and the reason I do that is because I need them to know that their game's on, man. You got a uniform. You're in the game. I tell them sometimes, I said, look, imagine this like the baseball teams when they go to the pennant, right? There's a whole bunch of baseball teams from all over the country. I said, I'm not saying we're the best. Maybe we're the damn Cleveland Indians. I don't know. Maybe we're the Chicago Cubs. I don't know. But what I do know is you have a uniform. You're playing in the game. And if we make it to the pennant, then you got to show out, man, at your position. Because once you get to this level where you're dealing with a team, you're dealing with a company that's on the rise, everybody has to play their part. Because if one person's not playing their part, then it's hurting the rest of the team. And so that's how I run the business. I'm real big about loyalty, character, integrity. Those things are real important to me. I have a zero tolerance. I have a very zero tolerance for malicious or intentional negligence. I don't tolerate that at all, man. And I am good about giving people second chances if they make a mistake, maybe third chances. But I'm not very good at giving people a second chance when they do something that's malicious. So that's how I run HBHS. That's how Mike and I run it. And we got a lot of guys that have been with us for a long time. We've lost some people. We've asked some people to step aside, and we get new people. Some people make it, some people don't. Ricardo, you know that. I mean, you've been doing this for a while.
It's part of the business, right? And the reality is that as a leader, you have the ability to rebuild and reshape however you want to move forward, right? And I agree with you 100%. I'm actually, if in my opinion, anybody that's malicious within our operation doesn't make it. Like literally, they just don't, because you can't allow for that kind of stuff to happen. You know what I mean? So
it happens, man. I've had some really good people. I've had some really good people, man. And you know what the problem is, man? Ricardo, we've been asked this a lot of times. Charles, aren't you afraid to teach people what you know? And I say this to them: look, I share a lot of information with people. And we do private mentoring and coaching like yourself, but I'm talking about the people in our group, the people that we run our colors with, right? I know you're not afraid to teach people. I'm not afraid to teach people. You can't be afraid to teach people what you know, because what you should be afraid of is if they stay and they don't know, then what good are they to the team? So the problem with that concept is that it's a strong concept to propel yourself forward. The problem with it is that you never know what the integrity value of a person's inner core is that will then take that and then stab you in the back.
Yeah, we now, when we do our interview process, Charles, we actually we ask certain questions to be able to raise the red flags, to pinpoint those red flags through the interview, right? Integrity questions, those kind of things. And if we don't feel that the person is telling us the truth or being truthful about the answer, we just don't consider them, period.
And I agree with that. I mean, I try to give everybody a chance, if I feel they're good, if I feel like they got the smoke, they got the hustle. But, like I've talked to you about this before, man. I've had a few that have cut me hard, and it hurts, because you're like, damn.
Yeah, you treat them like your children. I mean, they're like your children, they're like your kids. And when they do something back to you, it hurts, because he's like, man, I've been raising this child. And this is how the child repays you back, right?
It happens, man. And that goes back to change. What I tell everybody is this, you can't be afraid of change, man. Not one person and not you yourself is going to make or break what you're doing. You know, I'm going to continue to go regardless of what happens. You know what I'm saying? If I had to deconstruct everything I was doing today completely, I'm still going to land on my feet. You know why? Because I know how to do this business. And so I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to show people what I do. I'm not afraid to run HBHS with Michael and he and I running it together. We're not afraid, you know, because at worst case, if everything fell apart, and I know you've been through some of that before,
Yeah.
Ricardo, at a huge level that you've explained to me. Worst case, man, a fighter knows how to get back on his feet, and that's what we are. I really believe that, man. I believe that, you know, that it doesn't matter how many times you find success. The key thing is that if you lose it, go get it again. You know.
That's why I love movies like Rocky, man.
Yeah.
You see Rocky getting beat down. I mean, he's blown up. And that dude, he just finds a way to just pull himself back up and come back around and win the fight, right? You know,
I love that part, that movie, man, where he's in a fight. He's an older guy, and that one part where he says, it's not how hard you can take the hit, you know, it's how hard you get up. And I like that. I watch that every once in a while, man. But
yeah,
and I want to say something, Ricardo, to everybody.
Yeah,
who watch this. You know, sometimes people hear me say this and they wonder why I say it. You know, and I don't mean it in a disparaging way to anybody. I don't judge people who teach in our industry or other industries. I know that people need motivation. I know you said that earlier, that sometimes I inspire people by the way I talk and share my experiences, and I'm good with that. You know, I mean, I want to inspire people. When I say that I'm not down with motivational manipulation, what I'm trying to say when I say that, Ricardo, is that that what I see a lot of times in this business, at least from our vantage point, because we're looking at the business now. We're not in the business. We're looking at the business. We see the whole thing now, you know, because I know you're there yourself. Someone that's just coming up, they don't really understand it yet. You know what I'm saying? Is what I see is people who will use different tactics to motivate people in a way that manipulates them to do something that now they're not fighting for their own dream. They're fighting for something you told them to do. And so, and I don't agree with that, man.
I agree with you 100%. By the way, I completely understand where you're coming from. We both align in the same aspect. Selling a dream so you can sell your coaching program. You follow me? That's what they do. You know, hey, how you like to come get this 50,000? Imagine what you can do. This is how they do it, right? Because I've been through all these guru classes. Imagine what your life will look like if you got this $50,000 check in the next 30 days. By the way, you need to buy my coaching program, and maybe in 50 days you can get the $50,000 checks. And I disagree with a lot of that, because they're not taking into account what this past life person looks like. Do they have the grit? Do they have the discipline? Are they going to really study the material? Are they going to be consistent? You know, and they're leaving all of that out. You know, that's why the new set of educators and entrepreneurs like you and I, were coming in and we're showing the truth. Hey guys, this is the truth. This is what it takes. Okay, these are the bruises and all the scars that we have. But by the way, this is real, and you can get there.
And you know, I know that people are down with, you know, the hype, and I don't do that stuff. You know, I have a hard time doing that. But what I tell people is, look, I can sell you
anything.
I can sell you smoke if you want.
Yeah.
Or I can tell you this is how it really works, you know. Yeah. And if you want to believe in the motivational smoke, that's okay. That may get you over the hump. But what's going to get you to do the actual work is learning how to do the 1, 2, 3. And so, I mean, I don't judge and stuff. I mean, I say that stuff only because we all have a right to say what we want to say. And I think that Michael and I have put in enough work in this business. We have a scope of work. We've been doing this for a long time. and I think we have the stripes to be able to talk about this stuff, you know. And so hold on one second, Michael, I'm on a podcast.
Tell him to come say hi, man. That's funny. So look, Charles, that's how this group.
Say hi or
What's up, Mike?
How you doing? More deals than the gurus. How you doing?
That's how it started, man, when we were doing this pod. By the way, Mike, you're next, bro. I gotta have you next week on the podcast. So
sounds good to me, man. I'll let you guys do it.
Hey, Carl, you're gonna have to cut that piece out, man.
No, it's all good, bro. We'll leave it like that. Hey, so check this out, Charles. This is how More Deals on the Guru started, because one night during the pandemic, this is around March, April, I was actually having a couple of beers, watching some YouTube. That's all I do, man. I watch concerts and stuff like that. That's what plays on my TV. Concerts, music, and educational stuff that I want to learn. And I was just having a few, man. And this is like midnight. I don't know, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. And I already had probably like 10. And I see this guy on Facebook flashing a $35,000 check. Come check how I make this check, selling the education program, right? And right there, I'm like, man, I know this clown. I know who this guy is. He's not doing a lot of deals. He got lucky by getting that one check, and now he's trying to capitalize, by the way, I'm not hating on the guy, but he's trying to capitalize on this check so he can sell his education that he probably put together last week. I don't even know if he put it together yet. And I said, I'm going to start a group that I'm going to show people how to do this raw, just like you guys do it. Very similar model, but you guys had the midnight hustle. I got More Deals on the Gurus. And that's how More Deals on the Gurus started. So I went and created a Facebook group, and I threw this little logo together. Actually, Lauren did it for me. And she asked me, what do you want, Ricardo? I said, I want $1 million check, More Deals on the Gurus in green. I want to show money, but I'm going to show the truth, the bad, and the ugly of this business. And I'm going to show people how they can generate leads for motivated sellers. And I went and posted made a little post. This, like, not even 10 minutes after that guy flashed that check. I said, all right, guys, I'm sick and tired of looking at people flashing checks. Who wants to come learn the real deal? We're doing 20, 30 deals a month. We're contracting, because in reality, you hear people all the time say, oh, I'm doing 40 deals a month, or I'm doing 50 deals a month. Okay, how many did you close? Yeah. That's the reality. How many did you close? Because I can get 50 contracts if I agree to pay retail to everybody. And just to have a piece of paper saying I got a contract, but how many did I close? You know,
and you and I have had this discussion, like, I mean, like, for example, I'm always real transparent about our stuff. We took it on the nose in November, December. Like last year, November, December, the previous year, we were clocking. This past November, December, we moved to a new office. I don't know, man. We just took it on the nose. We've got a shitload of contracts. And I told you about this.
Yeah.
But we overstacked these problems and these deals. And we got so many bad contracts that it was just bogging us down, man. It was bogging us down. And Michael and I had to make a decision in December. We had to dismiss a lot of people that were bogging us down. And we had to make a decision and let go of a lot of bad deals that we had, so we could breathe. And then when we did that, we had to unclog the pipe. We have flips going on. We still doing credit financing. What people don't realize is when you build a wholesaling business, and we're not primarily a wholesaling business, we do other stuff, but it can become a monster, and it can take all your time.
Yep.
And because now you're feeding the monster data, systems, people with problems. You got title issues, and you gotta get the attorney to do this, get the attorney to do that. The title company's not returning calls. There's so much stuff going on, and so when I applaud people that are doing a lot of deals. We do a lot of deals. I know what it takes to do a lot of deals. But I also know that it's not all peaches and cream.
It's not. And to be honest with you, Charles, and we had this conversation, right, where you told me how much you stack, and I was like, man, why are you doing that to yourself? Because I rather do less deals. Me personally, I rather have 4 or 5 closings a month, but make 100, 200,000 on those 4 and 5. You follow me? But they have plenty of equity. So that's why I target high equity. Now, the reach is harder because you're targeting a lot more people to get that one deal. So your cost per acquisition might go up a little bit, but I'm past over, I got to do 20 deals or 30 or 40 deals or 50 deals or whatever, which, by the way, we do have contracted 30 to 40 at any given time. Now, and we're growing that pipeline as we continue to get more strategic about how we approach the leads. But I'm not in a race to do more deals than anybody else. I mean,
and it's very important you said, for all you guys that are listening, usually when me and Ricardo are talking, we're giving strategies out, especially when we're doing shows, we're talking about strategies. Today, we're just talking about business. What I say to everybody is this, man. Stop trying to compete with that guy, this guy, that guy. Just do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing, get good at it, and then double it. Do your thing, get good at it, and double it. This day, like I said, November, December, we took it right on the nose. This past month, we got our huge flip that we're fixing. We already got on the market. We got 2 other flips going on. We have we're picking up a 4-plex. We're picking up a duplex. We have contracts that are closing. So you got to be willing to push through, man. Even the hard times, you got to be able to understand. You got sometimes to deconstruct stuff. Maybe deconstruct your team. Maybe deconstruct your system. Maybe get rid of deals that are bogging you down. It's all part of the business, man. And that's why I think when I say that I'm against, the fluff, I'm against the motivational manipulation. And I hate to say what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it. See, what bothers me is, sometimes people tell me, well, Charles, are you upset because some young guy is doing good? I said, no, I love that. What I hate is when people get hurt, they come into the business with a dream, and then it becomes his dream. Now you're working for somebody. Now you're a bird dog. You don't even realize you're a bird dog, because instead of fighting for your own dream, you're fighting for that dude's dream.
And they had to pay $25,000 for it.
Yeah. And I get it. If you're going to get mentored, look, we do mentoring. And I'm not judging anybody's mentoring. I get it, man.
I encourage people to get mentored, but they need to pick the right mentor.
If you're going to get the smoke, the real smoke, that's badass. The part that freaks me out all the time is when I see people working day and night doing all this fluff stuff, and they forget that they got into the business to change their life. Yeah. They forget they got into the business to build a portfolio for their family. And so that's the part that that's what I say, that I'm not down with motivational manipulation stuff.
Yeah, they lose their north, is what I call it. They don't know where they're going anymore. They buy into someone else's idea. But I agree with you 100%. That's why I like to show the real raw data. Like, hey, this is how it's done. This is how much it sucked in July. This is how great it was in August. And the reason why these months are different is because this is what happened. That way people get prepared for, okay, I didn't know there were less buyers during summertime. Well, no shit. Everybody's actually going on vacations in summer. So you're going to have a lot less buyers throughout the summer. Another one that I love sharing is, I love Christmas and New Year's, because everybody goes to sleep on Christmas and New Year's. And that's when I really go out there and, man, I'm just targeting more and more and more. I'm scooping everything that nobody is willing to target during those months, right? But anyhow, Charles Hernandez and Michael Llanas will be at the Real Estate Entrepreneurs Event and Mastermind in Houston, Texas, April 30th, May 1st, and May 2nd. So if you guys want to be on that mastermind, we will be showing you how to build a 7-figure business, how to build it, how to deconstruct it, how to build it back up. because that's something that happens all the time. We're constantly building and rebuilding our business, and we have a badass lineup. We actually just had a little bit of a taste of what that looks like during the Hustle Mastermind in San Antonio a couple of weeks ago. That, man, I tell you what. So I spoke to David Olds, who's actually going to be coming up also with Tag to the mastermind. And this is one thing I want to tell you, Charles. He told me this. He said, Ricardo, nobody has ever made me feel the way you guys made me feel that weekend on that mastermind. To me, that was the sign of success, because you guys really put something awesome. I help you with it, but in reality, it was your deal. You guys went and organized the restaurants. You organized the bus to go to Rosario's. You organized the whole thing going to Shamagaucha. We stayed up in people's rooms until 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning drinking, and then getting after it the next day. And man, when David told me that, I was like, man, that thing was a success, because really, we did it for ourselves. We didn't really do it for anybody outside of our circle, even though we had a few people join us. And for someone that it's such a high caliber player like David, and like David is, because Tag couldn't come, but David was the one that attended. When he said that, I said, man, that was a success, because that's really what mattered to us. It wasn't. We didn't do it to make money. You guys didn't, especially you, didn't make it to make money. You actually almost gave the damn thing away. So, which I was like, man, what are you doing? But we had a taste of that. And because I enjoyed so much the mastermind and being around all these players and all the information that was poured into the room that weekend, I decided to change my event completely. I said, I got to change the whole format. This is what I want. I want the same energy. I want some of the same people. I wish I could have put them all in there, but we had to allow for new blood, to come into the new mastermind that I'm putting together this time with Keon, and where you guys are our special guest, and you will be speaking there and showing people how this is done for real. So if you guys want to be a part of our mastermind on the real estate entrepreneurs events and mastermind, check out on the comments below. There's going to be a link in there for you guys to buy a ticket. For the first time, nobody has ever done this, Charles. Nobody. We're opening the mastermind to the public. So literally, they're going to come in and they're going to watch us mastermind. We're going to pick each other apart. We're going to complement each other and pick each other. And we're going to ask the real questions. What are you struggling in your business? What are you succeeding with in your business? How do you solve this challenge? And man, I remember in the Hustlers Mastermind, which, by the way, you're playing the video on your background is badass. I remember I spoke first, and then I think second was Tim and John Jackson. And by the time they were done, I said, "That's it. My trip is paid for." Because that first set of speakers, in my opinion, they literally, solved a lot of my questions that I had regarding the education business. And then every other speaker that came after that, they were just throwing fire, nuggets after nuggets after nuggets. We're going to do the same thing here at the Real Estate Entrepreneurs Mastermind. We're going to have Brad Lee from Dropping Bombs. He's going to be our keynote speaker for the mastermind. So I am excited, because this guy has built multi-million-dollar businesses, and he's got one of the top podcasts in the nation right now. So I am honored to have you, Charles, and Michael, and having your support for putting this mastermind together. And guys, if you guys want to come meet Michael and Charles, you better be there that weekend.
It's gonna be. The Hustlers Mastermind was great, man. But this one you're putting together in Houston is just gonna be fire, man. And people who want to really learn. Look, man, you can go and pay, a mentorship. There's a lot of people who have mentorship. We have mentorship. Ricardo has one. But to have the opportunity, what I told to a few people that we did invite? I said, look, what would you do to be in a room with guys that are actually doing this business, that you would like to reach out to on social media and say, hey, how do you do this? What would you do to be in the room with them, to meet them on their own playing field, look them right in the eye, and they know that you paid to be there? They have a different type of respect for you, man, when you do that, than when you send them a message on Facebook. Trust me, man, when you meet someone on their own level and they know that, hey, man, you paid to play, you paid to be there, you paid to hear that person talk, to mingle with them, rub shoulders with them, the connection is just way different, Ricardo, than when you reach out to someone and say, hey, man, can you help me with this? Or, hey, I have a question. It's just way different, man.
Well, I went and asked Jeremy, for instance, out of Dallas, who attended the Hustlers Mastermind with his wife. And is it Jeremy? I think his name is Jeremy. I forgot, but anyhow, I asked him. I said, "Hey, man, do you get your value?" This is towards the end of second day. He said, "Ricardo, you have no idea how much this thing has helped me, because I had so many questions unanswered that I thought I was swimming in my own pool and I didn't know how to get to shore. And because of all of you guys' experiences from the last, 20 years, because like we had people like David and a couple of like you, David, and a couple of other guys, you guys been in the business for 20 plus years now, that I see the light at the end of the tunnel." And I said, "Perfect. Let me ask you another question. Will you pay to be on another mastermind like this again?" And he's like, "Absolutely. I have no doubts, because every single time that I surround myself with people that are, operating at a higher level, the gap in between myself and you guys gets closed quicker." So this is what these masterminds are producing. It is for exclusive people, because you have to have money to get in there. This is not free or cheap. But we make it accessible to, it doesn't break the bank.
Yeah. I will say one thing, all the people that went paid to be there, and the people we invited, actually some additional people. We didn't want to get a whole crowd at the time, but some of the people were like, "Man, are you serious?" I'm like, "Brother, I'm giving you the opportunity to talk to millionaires who are running real deal businesses, from multifamily to development to systems to social media to banks. We had Donahue there and Tommy Holt, and giant wholesale businesses and creative financing." I said, and you're gonna prevent yourself from being in a room with these individuals and be able to walk, talk, rub shoulders with them, have a drink with them, have a cigar with them. The bonds that you create in an atmosphere like that, dude, are just way different than reaching out to somebody on social media, man. Me, if I would have been more hip to how to do business when I was younger, I would have paid. And all these guys, actually, I would have paid a lot more. But all these guys, even Ricardo, you asked them, they all said, "Man, I would have paid a lot more to be here." Yep. than what that it was, because it was really just to cover the cost. You know what I'm saying? And so this one you're doing in Houston, for people who really want to scale their mind, scale whatever they're doing. They want to take 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of information they would have to find on the internet or through experiences. If you want to level up and just push all that into a weekend, and then at the same time have the opportunity to rub shoulders with people, it's a no-brainer, man.
Not only that, Charles, but the memories that we're going to create that weekend we're going to be talking about that weekend, just like we're going to be talking about the Hustlers Mastermind for another year. Hey, you remember this? You remember when he did that? You remember what happened? Like, I don't know if you know this, but because of COVID, the Marriott, the hotel, was shutting everything down early. The bar was shut down like at 11, but we were all still hanging out by the bar. And the hotel manager actually went and opened up the convenience store.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we ransacked the convenience store. We were buying beer, wine, alcohol, food, you name it.
I was like, I was like, this is not happening, man. They opened it up after hours, and everybody's in there just ransacking sandwiches and chips, and everybody came back and just sat down together and just started sharing stuff, man. Even like right now, like I asked Corey, I text Corey the other day, say, hey Corey, can you send me a copy of an ovation contract? I had it within minutes, and those are the type of bonds, guys, that you build when you're able to rub shoulders with someone, when you're able to talk to someone, have a drink with someone. They're gonna respect you at a whole different level than when you just reach out to them on social media. Unfortunately, it's just a fact,
It's a fact. It's a fact. So, guys, we're inviting you to the Real Estate Entrepreneurs Mastermind and event and mastermind in Houston, April 30th, May 1st and 2nd. Come hang out with me and Charles and Michael and everyone else that's coming up. I will be announcing more names. Corey's definitely going to be there. He's a killer, man. He's been doing deals all over the U.S. now. With PPC campaigns. He actually dialed me into, I have a call at 1:30 p.m. today with a company that they do some software for disposing properties and things like that. So I'm going to be checking him out. But that's the kind of, that you're right. It's the kind of bond that you create with people. People become one phone call away because now we got to bond, we got to meet, we got to share experiences, we got to grow a relationship, and we had a great time. I mean, by the time it was time for me to come back from San Antonio, even though I was tired because we were up all night, up all day, and having fun, all the time, I was like, man, I wish we would have done one extra day of more stuff, But we planned that one at a short notice, and you guys did a hell of a job of putting the whole thing together. Your team, Miguel and Sheik, they did a hell of a job putting those videos together. So they were just spitting out content right away, as we were doing the mastermind. So it was an amazing experience. So anyhow, Charles, thank you so much for being here today, brother. I will have you here at the Real Estate Entrepreneurs Mastermind, April and May. And guys, if you guys need to find Michael and Charles, they have Home Buying Home Selling Association. They have a huge Facebook group. Please go make sure that you go get on that group. Follow their page. Also find their Instagram and their Facebook pages. These guys are go-givers. That's one of the reasons why I like them so much, is because they're not afraid of sharing their knowledge. They're not afraid of teaching people the right way, and showing them the wrong way too. Is like, which path do you want to go through, right? They are real. They do a lot of deals in not only San Antonio, but all over the country. Just recently, I introduced you to our title company in Tampa, Florida, because you're doing deals there. So you guys want to make sure you plug in with Michael and Charles, because you will definitely be in the right hands when it comes to learning real estate. So with that being said, Charles, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.